I'm Alysa DeQuiroz, and you're watching Outside the Games with your host, Kevin Manson.
Well, I'd like to welcome everyone to Outside the Games. We have a great show provided for you today. Thank you for coming in. Really what this show is about is student athletes on and off the field in their respective sport, and really how they are as far as character, and that means a lot. So we have a great guest with us today. This is Alysa DeQuiroz. She is a shortstop, second base, class of 2022, Heritage Christian High School in California, Silmar, I believe it is correct, California. And she is a 2017 USA Softball All-American. She has a 4.0 plus GPA. Alysa, thank you so much for coming onto our program.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
It's been a pleasure. Hey, we start out with family, Alysa, on our show because we believe that family means so much to the student athlete. Explain to us how you would define family and why.
You know, for me, family has always been the center of everything through softball and school, and honestly has just been my rock. Family is the reason that I am where I am today and why I've been able to do the things I do.
Yeah, that's a good definition of it because, again, it can mean the littlest things, but those little things mean so much to the student athlete. So explain to me, mom and dad in your household, and you got a little brother. So that family structure is a good foundation. Let's start off with mom. What is it that mom does for you as a student athlete, providing what she does for you? Let's start out with her first.
You know, my mom has always been my best friend, but in the same sense, she's always been on me, whether it be school or, you know, doing things around the house. But she's also been so helpful, just taking me everywhere I need to go, practices, games, or if I forget my cleats at home, you know, my mom's always been there for me in that aspect as well.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because both mom and dad play different roles, and I think in the family unit. Let's talk about dad. What is it about dad that stands out to you to make you the best student athlete possible?
You know, my dad has always pushed me to be my best. I look up to my dad very much, and I think in that aspect, you know, I want to make him proud in everything that I do. So everything I have done in softball and school is, you know, I want to just make my dad proud.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. Uh, the student athlete is interesting because there's an aspect of time, right? All of us, it's all been said that, you know, we all have the same time. It just depends on how we choose to use it. Um, let's look at something though about student athlete challenges that you face in high school. Take me through what those student athlete challenges are and can be when it comes to playing a sport that you love, you have passion for, but you're also trying to do really well with the books. Take me through what the challenges are for you.
Right. Definitely, I think a big challenge for me, you know, going on being a student athlete from a very young age was time management. But as I got older, I always understood that school came first for me. I always made sure whether I had to wake up a little early to finish something because I knew I had a game that day, or I had to stay up a little later to finish something if I have an early morning for softball the next day. It's definitely been focusing on what's important and knowing that I have a job to do.
Yeah, no, that's important. Um, and it's interesting that you mentioned time management because that's something that a lot of student athletes have a hard time with. But you've kind of mastered it to somewhat to see what works and what doesn't, right? Does procrastination seem to kind of creep in a little bit though for a student athlete? Kind of, you have something to do, but you kind of put it off just a little bit sometimes.
I think definitely, especially with this COVID season, definitely, you know, you're in your room for the whole day, and it's hard when you look behind you and your bed's right there during class, you know. But I think for me, what always helps me to be able to get my stuff done is just, you know, there's always time for things you want to do when you're done, you know.
Yeah. And really the thing is that you choose, hey, what's a priority, what's not, right? You try to do that. Talk about mentorship. I think mentors are such a huge part of what a student, how a student athlete is made. Because again, you got your parents, mom and dad, that provide just the basic necessities, a house, a clothing, food, transportation sometimes. But from a standpoint of mentorship, it can be outside of the family unit. but also mentorship can be your family as well. So take me through who your mentors are and why, Alyssa.
Growing up, also my coaches were always my mentors. Just being able, especially my female coaches that I had, looking up and seeing that they have been where I want to be. They have been playing Division I softball. That's mostly every girl's dream. As a softball player personally. Also, just looking up to college players themselves. Delaney Spalding, Sierra Romero. Big D1 shortstops have been just a good role model for girls like me to have a dream.
And you said it right there, is have a dream. Alyssa, does it start there with the dream? And when did you first pick up a softball?
I first picked up a softball when I was about 5 years old.
So your parents said, she loves this softball. And how did you get a love for the sport itself? And are there any other sports you play?
Well, I first had a love for the game when I was about, I think, 6 years old. Growing up, I played a lot of sports. I played softball. I did ballet, I did cheerleading, but softball was different in the way that it was competitive. It was a game. It's like playing a board game or something where you have to think about, different pieces moving. For me, it was so much fun. I never wanted to stop playing. That made softball different, and it stood out from all the rest of the sports I was playing at the time. And right now I also do play volleyball for my high school, but softball has just always been it for me.
Interestingly, because sometimes when you do play a different sport, do they kind of compare together in some aspect? I mean, because it's volleyball and softball, but they're a little bit different, are they?
They are a little bit different, with everything like indoor, outdoor sport. But honestly, there's a lot of similarities. Athleticism is very important in both sports angles, especially in volleyball and in softball. And I find myself doing a lot of the same feet work when I'm, on the court, in the volleyball court, or on the field, some differences.
But you hit the ball differently. Obviously, softball, you use a bat and you got to hit the ball, the softball, but then in volleyball, you're using your hands more. And what position do you play in volleyball?
I'm the libero.
Okay. How are the respective teams doing at Heritage Christian High School with both of those sports?
With volleyball as a fall sport, it's more defined of what our season's going to look like. Unfortunately, it had to get pushed back. We're looking to January to start, and we have to travel for most of our games to a county that is more open than LA County is at the time. And, softball, still up in the air. I'm really hoping for a season this year, definitely getting pushed back more towards the summer, just waiting on everything to get a little bit better.
If you're just joining us, we have here Alysa DeQuiroz. She is volleyball and softball player, but her passion is softball. She loves the sport as a shortstop and second base. Alysa, what do you miss about the sports? I mean, we're under COVID-19, and it's presented a lot of challenges because you look at there's governors making orders, there's counties that are open, some are not open, distancing, socially, masks and sanitizing. It's just, there's a lot in this aspect of COVID that's really presented a difficulty for these sports to start and to get some momentum to start. What is it that you miss about these sports?
A big part of softball for me is the family aspect. So obviously, I miss my girls. I miss my teammates a lot from my high school, even my travel team as well. I think I miss the most just being out there, being able to play, being on the field is just somewhere that, me personally has always been like an outlet for me to, let go. It's somewhere that I can have fun, but at the same time, just still be able to continue playing my game.
And I think the thing is, when you say family, it's that in-person connection that you have with your girls. And I think the thing is too, is that's what's missed. I mean, you don't get that when you're virtual and you're maybe having meetings, and maybe the training that's involved. Perhaps, some high schools have been able to do some training, but very individual type training, or a group of maybe 5 or less, but they have to social distance, and there's just not that same aspect of just team oriented. Has that been difficult too, as far as the training and not being able to meet up with your girls and to compete together?
Definitely, it's been harder. We have like slots. Five of us go for an hour, the other five the other hour, and then the last five the other hour. It's definitely different from what I've always been used to. It's a very team aspect sport. Definitely, you all have to have each other's back. But for weeks, I haven't seen the other 10 girls, and it's definitely been difficult. But it's something to get used to, and at least we're still able to get some work in as well.
And the thing is too, is you try to keep in touch with them, right? I mean, because even though you don't have time to practice together, you're still in touch with them. You're still checking in on them. That's a very important thing too, because you're feeling the way you're feeling, but there's your teammates too are struggling, right?
Yeah, of course, it's definitely been even more of a necessity now to just keep in touch, call them whenever I miss them or whatever, text them, see how they're doing, checking in, especially with school. I go to school with some of my teammates as well. I'm able to see them on Zoom, something that we can laugh about. Also, just get our stuff done together as well.
Yeah, let's get into a little bit of the academic part of things. You are a 4.0 plus student. And has there been any challenges academically for you, that because you're going to school, you're seeing your teachers, you're getting the assignments, you're having that close contact in communication with your teachers, but now it's a little bit different. Now it's virtual. And how are you handling the academic side of things? Because again, you're not playing in a sense, you're training, but it's not taking up a lot of time. So you have a little bit of free time. How are things academically going for you with school?
Academically, it was definitely something to get used to, but I feel like I have gotten used to it now because, we've been virtual since March. It's almost been a year now. I definitely think I have more of a flexibility in my schedule. I don't have to go to school physically every day. I have more of a time that I can figure out what works best for me. With my teachers, it has been hard not being able to see them every day. Lectures is definitely hard, especially, with online. There's network issues. Sometimes they can't hear us, we can't hear them, but, it's been a process and we're all going through it together.
And do you find it, I've heard this with some schools, believe it or not, the engagement aspect of some of the other students, having their videos off, maybe not, having that, being engaged into the lesson. Do you find that a little bit that with, that it's a little bit different now with virtual? Because when you're in person, a teacher can actually see that you're attentive, you're in the subject, you're participating. It's a little different now, right? Do you find that a lot of student athletes struggle, or other students struggle with this virtual classroom?
Me personally, at my school, I think we're very blessed in the fact that we have a little bit of smaller classes. The small school, so we're all definitely more comfortable with each other that I think would be at a bigger school. So I don't see as much like engagement issues because, we're comfortable with our teachers. We're actually able to speak with them. But, some of my teammates do go to some bigger high schools and they definitely have been seeing like, yeah, no one turns their camera on and the teacher's just getting frustrated. It's all just been a part of this whole, COVID season.
How important is that relationship with your teacher? Because we talk with academics and trying to have a 4.0, not an easy task. It takes a lot of focus, determination, and diligence on your part. How important is that student-teacher relationship in remaining, in communicating and being attentive? How important is that to make sure that you're taking care of the academics?
I think that is probably the most important part throughout school. You want to have a good relationship with your teacher, not only for being able to understand material, but I think it's important that you're able to see that they're a person too. I think a lot of people see their teachers as the worst thing in the world, but getting to know your teachers helps with understanding and being able to have them understand you as well. Throughout high school, I love all my teachers. I've definitely grown to look up to them as well, especially coming from a smaller high school. I think it's perfect.
Yeah, and let's dig a little bit deep into that relationship with the teacher, because what is it that you have to do to get the best out of the teacher? Like, there are some things that you have to own. to help the teacher be successful? What are those things that you can do?
Honestly, it's always the little things, just being able to stay engaged in class, answering questions when no one else really wants to, just, taking a leap of faith, even if you don't really know what you're doing, because at the end of the day, they're there to teach you, they're there to help you.
And hey, you mentioned it earlier. It's not easy for the teacher. You mentioned some examples with regards to how the teachers get frustrated. How do you try to make it easier for the teacher? So what can you do to kind of help the teacher be successful in this virtual space of a classroom?
Honestly, I think just talking to them, sometimes just at the end of the Zoom, I'll just go and, talk to my teacher, or maybe if I'm on campus for practice or something, I'll go with my mask, of course, and talk to my teachers, see how they're doing, like honestly ask them how everything has been. And, it's nice to talk to people. They tell me a lot, like, oh, this made my day. And I know it did, because it made mine too. It's very, this season has been difficult for everyone. And I think just being able to be nice to people has definitely been good.
Yeah, I mean, I think you take yourself out of the equation in a sense, because it's for a student athlete, sometimes it's all about me, right? It's all about what I'm doing, what's in my world. But if you think about it, the school systems are just being impacted by COVID, and the teachers are being put in a space that they're not used to. And I'm sure those that have been there a long time at Heritage Christian High School are looking at these ones that have been maybe just students or teachers recently in their profession. They're like going, wow, this is something we've never seen.
Yeah, definitely. I think some of my teachers that, that I know have been there for a long time, honestly have been the most affected, versus my younger teachers that are more, maybe a little tech savvy. I understand, because it was different for all of us. And, I definitely sympathize with my teachers.
Yeah. Well, we have Alysa DeQuiroz, again, class of 2022 with Heritage Christian High School in California. We'll be right back.
You know, I'm legendary. You know, let's go. Out of the dust, a legend is born. Born for the game, born for the throne. Up from the ground, and out of the gates.
Customer service has always been at the heart of everything we do at Enterprise. And now, more than ever, we know the importance of keeping our valued partners, like you, informed about the service enhancements we've made for the safety and well-being of your customers and our employees. The Enterprise Complete Clean Pledge is our commitment to maintaining the highest standards of safety and cleanliness. Vehicle cleanliness has always been important, but right now, customers need even more confidence that the vehicle they are driving is clean and safe. With our Complete Clean Pledge, no matter where customers rent with us, a repair shop, their home, or our rental branch, customers will know their rental vehicle has been cleaned and sanitized in compliance with procedures established by leading health experts. Customers will see notifications within their vehicle that indicate it has been thoroughly cleaned using strict sanitizing procedures. These procedures include a strong focus on 20 high touch points throughout the vehicle, as well as washing, vacuuming, general wipe down, and sanitizing with a disinfectant. Additionally, we are innovating the rental process to minimize contact between your customers and our employees. Enterprise Launchpad allows us to interact with your customer where they are most comfortable and complete a properly distanced, low-touch rental transaction. Our safety precautions also extend to our rental locations. We've installed plexiglass counter shields to protect our customers and employees. Touchable surfaces are sanitized regularly, and curbside pickup options are offered to customers visiting a rental location. As the needs of your customers evolve, we want you to know that we are committed to maintaining the highest standards of safety and cleanliness, along with the same great service you expect from Enterprise. Thank you for your partnership.
Well, we're right back here with Alysa DeQuiroz, class of 2022, shortstop, second base at Heritage Christian High School in California, a 4.0 student. She does it really good in the classroom, so she's working hard. So we talked a little bit about that student-teacher relationship before, Alysa. Let's get into about Heritage Christian High School. Now, you've been attending that high school for a little bit here. Take me through what Heritage Christian High School is like. You did mention it's a smaller school, but take me through what that experience is like. Get our viewers to understand what Heritage Christian is like.
Heritage for me has been my home for a very long time. I'm a junior now, and I've been attending since the 6th grade. And it is a family for me. I feel most comfortable there. It has been like a second home to me. I'm very close with my teachers, even the staff there, my coaches. I grew up with my athletic director. She was my travel coach when I was younger. And it's somewhere that I think everyone wants the best for you. Your teachers are always looking to be helpful in any way they can. Definitely, my college counselors have been there, with me every step of the way since when I was in middle school, knowing that I'm a student athlete, knowing where my goals are, and, they tell me what classes I have to take in order to get where I want to be.
Now, with Heritage Christian High School at Heritage, how is the history of the softball program, and how are they academically that you've known about or that you've heard from maybe past alumni?
Definitely. So my coach was actually an alumni. She played on the team as well. And, in years past, they have had good runs, good CIF playoff runs. We are a smaller school, so we only have a varsity team, actually. So it's just us. I don't have a JV team, which is definitely different from, most high schools. But, that just is something that I think brings the program together. It's very a family. I've been saying that a lot, but for me, that's the most important thing in anything you do, just being comfortable with the people that you're around. And this program is the epitome of a family. All the girls are very close, and I think that is why we've been successful in years past.
Wow, impressive. Being that it is a smaller school, you didn't have any difficulty. You remember when you went from grade school and then into this high school, was there some difference there, or were you in the same high school, and then, because different grades they do things differently, right? And K through 12 sometimes, or even before that. Take me through what that experience was like.
Going from my elementary to this school, it was, it's scary for everyone, like a bigger school, bigger campus, feeling like you're growing up. But, throughout that, I have been able to, I think, make lifelong friends. And through this school, it just has been an opportunity for me to grow into the person that I am.
Oh, beautiful. 2017 USA Softball All-American. That's impressive. What is it about that, the media attention, because again, this is your first interview, but media has come around. What is it about media, and how should a student athlete handle media when it comes to some of the attention that they get?
I think media is very something new that came with this COVID season. That's definitely different, especially from a softball player's aspect. I think it's just a way to show everything that you've been doing. You're able to, show some colleges that you have been working out through all of this, and it gives them an opportunity to take a peek into your athletic life. And I think it's very important to just stay engaged with your community. I think, I love seeing little girls just, posting on Twitter, like seeing what they're doing. It reminds me of my younger self.
Now, the difficulty is that film is everything. And especially when it comes to getting attention from colleges, because again, you got to kind of forecast, you got to think of the next thing coming up. How difficult has it been though with you personally, not having that game film? And now it's just training film that you're having to, you got past game film that you can use, but it's kind of like, what have you done for me lately? I mean, it's like they want to get the most current information these colleges do. Uh, how do you view that in the difficulty in not being able to play and providing more so training footage, sometimes slow speed or however you want to dress it up? What is it like to be able to, having to go through this?
It's very difficult, honestly, when coaches, see my film and they're like, well, we want to see you in a game situation, or, we want to see when the pressure is on. So I think that's when I want to take the opportunity where I'm at practice. I'll have one of the girls record or something when we're taking ground balls, or maybe when we're scrimmaging. It's definitely difficult, especially right now that I'm just at home, where, I can hit off a tee and I can take ground balls, but I understand, that's at the end of the day, that's not the same thing as a game. I also try and just record some of my workouts. I actually have my little brother. He helps me out a lot with that. That's been fun for us, something to bond over, but it still has been difficult.
Wow. Do I get an understanding of that little brother, maybe a videographer at some point?
Yes, maybe one day he wants to do that and I'll be part of his resume.
There you go. There you go. Good to get family involved too. I like that. Well, with the softball, yeah, let's talk about what the softball team had done the previous year. Talk to me how your teammates have been and your coaches. What has been very special about this softball team that has had you just loving the game, loving what you do? Take me through that.
Definitely the relationship that we all have with our coach. It's a mutual understanding of, why we play the game. Obviously, a game is a game. You play to have fun, but that's in the same respect. I think we all understand, we want to be competitive and at the same time we want to win. I think with my girls, we all understand how we want to play this game. We understand that it's more serious, than maybe some other people play. And I think because of that understanding that we all have, it definitely has brought out the best in all of us.
And what kind of how is a relationship with a student athlete? How important is that relationship with a student athlete to the coach? Do you think that's an important relationship to have and to really check in all the time, communicate well?
I think that's huge, especially in this sport. I think, having a mutual respect for one another, also, being able to take corrections when you need to. Asking questions is very important, has always been for me, just, always wanting to get better and make yourself better.
And has there been anything, take me through a time when this coach had maybe told you something that you didn't really want to hear, but you took it as something that was very helpful to you? Take me through one of those incidences.
Definitely my travel coaches are people that, they tell it how it is. They're honest and, they're point blank. And, there's obviously been situations where maybe I'm not having the best day at the plate. I know I'm not having the best day at the plate. And, they tell me I'm not having the best day at the plate. But, sometimes that's necessary to, get it through your thick head. You're going to be fine. You just have to get out of your mindset. And sometimes I think that's very important as a hitter, especially in the game of softball, to, get out of your own head. And it's very helpful when your coaches tell you, maybe when you feel like you don't want to be told that.
Well, I think we can make the case, though, that the coach and the student athlete get tested when it comes to just game time situations, in the game moments, even coaching.
Definitely.
Do you think that that's something that that being tested as to fitness, do you think that helps a student athlete? Because again, you're taking so much information, having to change some things, maybe fine tune some things. You find that helpful?
I think I find it helpful, through softball. And I also think, that helps through life. There's going to be opportunities like in work where your boss is telling you to fix something. And, I think through softball, I've been able to fix certain things that, maybe I wasn't thinking about before, or maybe that me, myself, I didn't think that was an issue, but, someone brought to light that was. I think this sport not only shows, issues in the moment, but it also, will shape you as a person for later on in life.
Yeah, and we all here at Outside the Games, we do talk about character off the field and how that's so important. take me through your life at home. What's the home life like with your parents and things? Take us through a day-to-day that you're able to help out your parents, or in ways that you're still learning to be better at certain things that you do at home. Obviously, you got chores. So take me through what a life in a life with Alysa DeQuiroz.
Me with my family, we're always having fun. I think always whatever we do, we're always laughing with each other. But in the same sense, sometimes it does have to be serious, especially me with my little brother. We have about a 7-year age gap. So that has been different for me in the sense that I felt like I had to grow up a little bit faster than, normal, because I wanted to set a good example for him growing up. I wanted to help my mom and my dad, helping with him, every day. And I try and help my mom and my dad out, like maybe they're out and I just want to do the dishes for them, or, I want to vacuum, I want to clean the bathroom. I think with us, it's very, equal. My brother will clean, I will clean. It's definitely, no one has anything that's given to them. My parents have always taught us that, we want something, we have to go and get it. And also, I think with my room, especially, my mom has always taught me that, that's your space to focus, clean it up, have it nice so you can have a good day.
Yeah. And you come back to a clean room.
Exactly.
Right. There's some qualities that you observe of your parents, though, right? I mean, that really help you, because you kind of go through your own day-to-day ups and downs. But it's that observing those qualities that show strength from your parents that help you get through a down day. Is that true?
Yeah, definitely. My mom is one of the strongest people I know. She has gone through so much, especially I have always looked up to her, and respected her in that sense. And I know, like, when I am down, that she is the person that I can go to look at the positives in life, because I think that's very important. Your mindset is everything. If you focus on the negative things, and if you're worried about something, whatever you're worried about is going to happen. I think it's very important to see the good in everything, and that's definitely something that my mom has taught us. But in the same sense, my dad is very determined. He's always been determined in anything he does, and because of that, I think me and my brother are. So I definitely see my dreams and my goals. My mindset is also because of my dad as well.
Oh, that's great. They've made such an impression and an example for you. That's really good to hear. Now, talk about softball, getting back to the game itself and the passionate game it is. What is that? What are some things that you've been doing in regards to training to get better? Because a lot of times with the student athlete, there are strengths and weaknesses. And I can tell you this, sometimes the student athletes don't like to talk about the weaknesses, because these are things that they have to really steadily improve on. But for you, Alysa, what are some strengths and weaknesses of your game in the game of softball?
Definitely some strengths is I've always been a natural fielder. Defense has always been my favorite thing to do. It's always something that has come more naturally to me. I feel more comfortable in the game in that sense. But hitting is its own little game. Hitting is a mindset. It's very mental, and that's very hard for everyone, especially me, because I feel like I'm a perfectionist. And a perfectionist in a failure game doesn't always, pair well, because you can go 3 for 10 and you had a good day, but those 7 other at bats, they weren't so good, And I think definitely with hitting growing up, it was definitely something that I had to learn to quickly be able to get over something. Like, let's say you had a bad at bat, but you have to flush that, because you have to go out and field the next inning, and you have to get ready for your next at bat. It's definitely something that I have grown to look at in a different light. When I was younger, it was definitely something that was much harder for me.
Really what it comes down to is this, and I think this isn't with all sports. Any sport you choose, you have to have a short memory. You have to have a very short memory. You don't forget on what the mistake you made, but you got to flush that quick, because the game is constantly moving. Do you find that you have tried to get better at that and flushing some of maybe mistakes that you've made when you're at an at-bat, or maybe an error that was created that you maybe made when you're trying to field? Have you found that have you gotten better at that?
Oh, definitely. Now that I'm older, I know that that was a big issue for me, growing up into this sport. Sometimes you want to just focus on things that you have done, and in your mind you're trying to make them better, but at the end of the day you can't go back in time and fix what you've done. All you can do is make sure you don't do it again. You learn from it, but you have to let it go, because if you don't let it go, that's just going to affect the game later on, or that practice later on, or even when you're going to sleep. The next day is always another opportunity.
Well, if you're joining us, we're here with Alysa DeQuiroz. She's class of 2022 at Heritage Christian High School in California. 4.0 student. We'll be right back.
We've got your back, Road Warriors. Because we know you want to get back to going your speed. Steering life at 10 and 2. You're prepared for this. And so are we. Soon, you'll get back to skipping the counter without missing a beat. Back to choosing any car in the aisle. Back to being the boss of you. Go national. Go like a pro.
I lost the first race I ever competed in. My family was there, my friends were there, and quite frankly, I was embarrassed. After that day, I changed my mindset, I changed my event, and won every race except for 2 over the next 3 years. Before I realized it, I was the USA Junior National Champion, the World University Games gold medalist, a 6-time collegiate school record holder, a 6-time collegiate All-American, and a world record holder. Of course, there were ups and downs. If there was one constant, it was the difficulty in finding a better way to recover and ease my pains. I tried every product available to aid my muscles in their recovery, from traditional tennis and lacrosse balls to heat wraps and even full-body vibration plates. Yet I felt that my recovery was always lacking. As I talked to other athletes and active people, I realized I wasn't the only one.
As a mechanical engineer, I focused my research on how vibration affects the human body. Over the past several years, it's been shown that vibration can decrease muscular pain, increase blood flow, and enhance recovery and performance, but we wanted to understand this even further. So we took existing solutions out there and we tested them. What we found was very interesting, namely that there are very specific amplitudes and frequencies of vibration that must be used to achieve the therapeutic effects of pain relief, increased blood flow, and enhanced recovery and performance. Almost all existing products suffered from one of those 2 drawbacks. I knew Shaquille was running professionally around the world, so I gave him a call and asked him if he had noticed these shortcomings in products that were currently on the market. After confirming that he had recognized the faults in products we had tried, our visions aligned and Milestorm was born.
We are excited to announce our first product, the Meteor. The Meteor is the world's most innovative massage ball. It is a patent-pending device that uses the combination of vibration, heat, and pressure to relieve pain, increase blood flow, enhance recovery, and improve performance. Active people figured out a long time ago that massage balls could be used for releasing tight muscles. Most people are familiar with or have used lacrosse balls, tennis balls, or other roller balls to enhance their recovery. What makes the Meteor so unique and stand out as the best option in recovery is that it is just as portable as these simple traditional methods, but with added features to take your recovery to a whole new level. The vibration reduces the pain associated with rolling out, while the heat increases blood flow and flexibility. When we first started this project, we knew it would be challenging. Compacting such an unbelievable amount of power into a 4-inch diameter was difficult enough. Then adding heat functionality made it that much more difficult. After countless hours of running tests to ensure safety and going through revision after revision, we have finally arrived at a point where we know we have the best and most versatile recovery device on the market. As a runner, I know how particular athletes and people in general can be about a product. We used this to our advantage. We took our early prototypes and tested them with every kind of person we could find, from Olympic runners, professional bodybuilders, physical therapists, and triathletes, to pregnant mothers and the elderly. The Meteor is for anyone who wants to feel better and recover faster, and will help to alleviate pain and enhance performance. And we are anxious to hear your stories about how it has helped you enhance your recovery and improve your life.
Well, welcome back. We have Alysa DeQuiroz, class of 2022 at Heritage Christian High School out of California, 4.0 student, shortstop, second base. Hey, Alysa, so talk about the strengths of your game when it comes to how you've gotten better at the game, because we talked about the weaknesses, but now the strengths. What are those like for you, and how you've become better at them?
You know, definitely with softball, I think a big part of the game is muscle memory. And muscle memory just comes with a lot of reps of, you know, the same thing, you know, going out and taking ground balls and going out, you know, and taking your hacks. But at the same time, I think it also comes back to fundamentals, you know, the things you learned when you were first starting the game, really breaking everything down and remembering that good technique is, you know, what really makes this game and what really makes you a great player.
Yeah. Talk about the footwork though. There's some things to this game of softball that you try to perfect, but it's always, there's some kind of fine tuning that you're doing, an aspect of that. Take me through the footwork when it comes to an at bat. How important is that footwork when you're getting up to hit?
You know, everyone has their own little thing that they do, you know, before they bat. Maybe they hit the plate, or, you know, maybe they hit their own bat. But definitely, like, footwork is timing. The essence of hitting is timing, being able to time the specific pitcher that you're hitting, and timing based off of your own swing is most important to have the best at bat that you can have.
Have you ever been hit by a softball?
Oh, definitely. When I was little, I was hit a lot because I tend to crowd the plate a lot. My coach actually bought me an elbow guard, like, as a joke. But I really would get a hit a lot. I still do get hit a lot, but it's just part of the game. Honestly, it's pretty fun.
I mean, the ball's coming at you pretty fast. I mean, in grade level, right? Because when you get to high school, these are student athletes. These girls are preparing themselves for college. You know, throwing a lot of heat. What do you notice about the ball when it comes at you? Have you found that the ball, even though they're pitching fast, that hand-eye coordination aspect of making sure that you look at the pitch, you follow it through, because they're trying to throw strikes. So how have you gotten better with that hand-eye coordination and really watching the ball, but more so getting the feel of that hit, knowing where you need to hit in the box?
Definitely. I think that is dependent on the speed of the pitcher. You know, a faster pitcher, you want to go back in the box, be able to watch her a little, but maybe a slower, you want to go in the front. But I think that's very important in having a successful at-bat. You know, hand-eye coordination goes hand in hand with being able to interpret balls from strikes. And swinging at something that you will be able to drive is what makes a hitter, you know, most dangerous, honestly.
Yeah, and I think the thing is too, has there been a time when the umpire made a call and you didn't agree with it?
Definitely always has been, where, you know, you had a blue that maybe, you know, didn't have the best call in your eyes. But I think with me, I've always, like, maintained that as part of the game. And I never think about it too much. I'm like, you know, that's their opinion. I'm not really one to argue with them, because, you know, at the end of the day, that's their job, that's their opinion, that's their pitch. You know, it's going to be different from the next at bat. Try not to focus on it too much.
Is Alysa DeQuiroz the person that looks to steal a base? She's just anxious to try to steal a base and get a chance to get a run scored?
I think I am, in the sense that I also know that I'm not one of the fastest on the team, but I think base running is about being smart and taking an opportunity when you can. And I think that's what makes a good base runner as well.
There's an aspect of the student athlete when it comes to training, and the training is, you know, fielding and hitting and some of those aspects of the sport. But let's talk about off the field. There's some training involved with your body. and getting your body conditioned and strong. Take me through, Alyssa, the things that you try to do with your body and how to get it stronger and faster. What are some things that you've been trying to work on? Because you mentioned right there, speed is not maybe my best strong point or strength, but it's something that you work on. So take me through what the training of your body, what's that like in softball?
No, definitely. I think it's definitely, as you've gotten older, something that you have to focus on. And like through this whole COVID experience, my parents actually built a gym in our bonus room. So I have a treadmill and dumbbells and things like that I've been able to, put weights on and, incorporate that more into my workouts, because I'm also not, the tallest player there is. So I think there's definitely something that I have to focus on more, and especially with speed, just, agility, ladder work, or just doing sprints on the treadmill is definitely something that I have focused on to make my body better. But at the same time, I know that I also have to take care of my body. So that means, icing after workouts or games, and, taking BCAAs and just focusing on keeping my body at the top shape that it can be.
There's aspect of nutrition too, because again, what you're putting in your body, you get out. There's also results to that. You're not going to eat a certain food that's going to be something that gives you a lot of inflammation. So have you noticed to do a little bit more of that and being careful? And are your parents helping you out with some of the nutritional aspects of things?
Definitely. My mom is a big helper with the nutritional aspect of my game, even just, little reminders throughout the day. She meal preps for me, I'll help her out, and it's been a big thing for me, just putting good things in my body that will make me feel good throughout the day.
Oh, that's good. Because there's the mind also, when you talk about having the mental part of it and also the physical part. Those two attributes, especially with any sport, play such a huge part of success, don't they?
Yeah, no, they definitely do. I think, playing a game, it has so many levels and so many things to worry about and so many things to stay on top of. It definitely adds to why I believe sometimes, playing softball is similar to having a job.
When you guys get back into an aspect of the season, things have been pushed back, and even when they get pushed back, you're like going, are we ever going to have a season? That comes into question. What goals, if you ladies do play, what goals do you have with regards to your season and having it become, what makes a good season, you think?
I think what makes a good season is being competitive, whether it be that, you're playing a good team and like you stay in that game and it's a close game. At the end of the day, if you lose 1-0 to a good team, but you felt like you gave your best and your girls felt like you gave your best, I think that's all you can ask for, through the early parts of the season. Then going on later, with my travel team in the summer, we're obviously looking to play for a national title. That's always the goal every single year, to go and play for that.
And let's not get it twisted. I mean, your teammates and yourself would love to get some hardware. There's nothing like that hardware, those rings to wear and say, you know what, I've accomplished something, to win a state title. That's every girl's dream, isn't it?
No, yeah, it definitely is. It's something that is romanticized. As a little girl, you see it on social media and everything like that.
What's Alyssa's favorite class in the virtual classroom? What is your favorite class?
Right now, my favorite class is AP Biology.
Okay. What is the worst class that, and when I say worst, it's kind of not your favorite, right? Everybody has a favorite, non-favorite. Well, what is your non-favorite class though?
I think right now my non-favorite class would probably be my calculus class. I think it's a challenge. I have fun sometimes in the class, but it's definitely something different than anything I've ever done.
I think a lot of times with any kind of classes or subjects that you take, the most difficult part of it is just trying to find how it applies to you, right? Because I mean, there are student athletes that struggle with math. There's student athletes that struggle with physics, chemistry, whatever it is. But sometimes you just have to find something like, how can I correlate this to something? How can I apply it to something so I can get it, comprehend it, and when it comes to a test, do well, right?
No, definitely. I think that's one of the reasons why I am loving my biology class right now, because we are learning, about the body. And I think as a student athlete, that also adds a different dimension, because we learn about injuries and what that can do to you in the long term, and how much your body really does do for you, in the sense of just going about your day, just even breathing, normal things like that. In the same aspect, I think that's what makes math a little bit harder, especially when you get to the higher levels where you think about, I'm never going to use this after this. But, at the end of the day, it's something that you just got to get through.
Well, and also too, it's just something that a precursor of what's going to happen in college. Many have said, especially as a student athlete in college, we've talked to some of them, they're already in college, and they said, wow, I thought my high school prepped me for this, but there's some difficulty here. I'm struggling a little bit, but thank goodness there's an academic support for the student athlete when it comes to the colleges and those administrations. Does Heritage High School provide that academic support? I know you talked a little bit about the counseling you're able to get, but how do they do academic support wise for you?
Well, my school, it's a college preparatory high school. So, I know if I am ever having an issue, I can go to my teachers. I can go to them any time of the day. I can go to them at lunch, and they will be more than happy to sit through their lunch with me to really, maybe there's something I'm not grasping, or even if I just need to talk, any of my teachers, I know any of my teachers will just be there for all their students. That's why I think I've thrived in an environment like this, where I feel like I have someone to turn to with my teachers.
Are you big in statistics when it comes to the game of softball for you individually and how your team is doing? Do those mean a lot? And do you watch game film?
Definitely. Statistics is a big part of the game personally for me, because I think that's how I go through just normal life. I think about statistics when I'm just like at the grocery store or things like that. And I like watching game film, not only for the teams I'm playing, but also for, my own team, see how things were run, maybe a specific play that didn't really go the right way. I think it's very beneficial to see, what was the issue, and you're also able to implement that into practice. We'll see, well, this is what happened. Let's try and do this next time.
Very, very important. Very important. We'll be right back here with Alysa DeQuiroz on Outside the Games.
We're all moving at our own speed. From essential workers to frontline responders to you. Whenever you're ready to get out there, Enterprise is ready too. With our Complete Clean pledge, you'll have the peace of mind that will get you safely on your way, wherever and whenever that may be. Enterprise. When you're ready, we're ready.
Welcome back to Outside the Games. We have Alysa DeQuiroz, shortstop and a second base, class of 2022 at Heritage Christian High School in California, 4.0 student. Hey, Alysa, so there's got to be some colleges that, when you watch the sport, these collegiate student athletes, what are some college, and again, this is pre-COVID, because obviously with COVID, college sports have been affected. But take me through what games you've watched and what favorite colleges do you like to watch in the game of softball?
Definitely growing up, especially living in LA, UCLA softball has been a big part of my childhood. And, as my career, I was playing softball, I've always looked up to the athletes themselves. I actually went to an overnight camp, I think I was 10 or something. They just won the Women's College World Series. They just won a natty, and that has always just been showing me and giving me examples of girls that are able to do it all. They're able to go to, one of the top universities in the country, and also be able to play softball very competitively.
Yeah, and even you talk about UCLA as academics too. I mean, they lead very well in the nation in academics, and again, it's the Pac-12 on the West Coast, Pac-12. Is there something that you look at when it comes to how maybe a collegiate student athlete plays the game? Do you kind of do you try to maybe record film, or have you found yourself to see like, boy, how are they hitting? How are they fielding? Maybe some things that they do that you apply to your own game.
No, definitely, especially with middle infielders. I love to see how they prep before a pitch. You know, every girl has their different preps. Some hop, you know, some step into it. I'm interested to see in how like the top middle infielders go about their game, how they react after a bad play is definitely important, just to show that it's very easy sometimes to get caught up into something. But to see them, they don't even bat an eye at things like that, and they're able to, you know, get over it very quickly. I love looking back at games and just seeing things like that.
You know, you have such a caring spirit about you. I can feel that when we talk. Let's talk about the mentality of the athlete from a standpoint of just COVID, and really the student athletes haven't been able to have much participation with people and with their peers. Depression is a big thing, and it affects a lot of people differently. Take me through of what you think is how is it about this COVID-19? What do you think it has a big effect, the mental side of a person dealing with things on a day-to-day basis?
Definitely. Even outside of athletics, you know, this whole season has been a lot for everyone, you know, especially my friends, you know, that maybe school was sometimes the only opportunity that they had to come talk to us. You know, I think student athletes are very fortunate that not only do they have school, but, you know, they also have sports. And I think with me, you know, being able to know that, I think that is when I try my best to check in with all of my friends, whether it be softball or people I barely talk to in class. You know, it's nice just to have a conversation with someone, because at the end of the day, you never know what's going on in the other person's head. You never know what's going on at home. You never know any issues. So I think treating everyone how you want to be treated at the end of the day is what's most important in life.
Perfectly said. The golden rule. You know, people need to really use that. You don't know what people are feeling and thinking. So it's may look good on the outside, but internally you don't know what they're dealing with. So that's very true. Well, this has been Alysa DeQuiroz from Heritage Christian High School in California, shortstop, second base, and 4.0 student, class of 22. I tell you, it's been a pleasure to have you, Alysa, on our program, really talking about what a student athlete deals with and on and off the field, and how important character is. You really summed that out well. We really appreciate you.
No, thank you so much for having me. This has been a great experience. I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, awesome. But we're not done. We have this thing called the Quick Blitz. We get to know you more on a personal level, because I think people want to know Alysa DeQuiroz a little bit more personal level, right? Favorite food?
Chicken piccata.
Ooh, okay. Favorite dessert, if you had to choose one?
Sugar cookies?
Okay. Snickerdoodles?
Not snickerdoodles. It's different. I don't like snickerdoodles. I like sugar cookies.
Sugar cookies. Okay. All right. Didn't know if you had to add the cinnamon on there. It makes a difference. Favorite shoe to wear?
Favorite shoe to wear? Jordan 1.
Okay. Styling. I got you. Apple or Android, and why?
Definitely Apple. I think it's very easy to connect to your laptop, to your watch, to your Mac. Much easier, in my personal opinion.
Which Alysa?
No hate to Android, though.
Oh, yeah. Which Alysa has a lot of, I'm sure. She has some Apple products in the house.
Definitely. I'm currently talking to you guys on the Apple computer.
There you go. There you go. Favorite cleat to wear in your sport of softball?
Favorite cleat? Definitely Mizuno's. I love Mizuno's. Some people call them bulky, but I feel like they give me support on my feet, which I like at the end of the day.
Now, hey, softball players got to have mitts. What is that favorite mitt you love to play with? Because I know baseball players, softball players, they love a good mitt.
Man, my Wilson A2000. I've had this glove for about 5 years. You know, I take care of her. She's my baby, always has been. I love that glove.
And sometimes student athletes, they're kind of, you know, they like to put a little bit of flair on it. They get a different color glove. They wear a different color of something. What's your favorite color mitt?
Currently mine is black and a little silver. I think I kind of get that because I'm a Raider fan, actually, personally. So that reflects on that colorway.
I love how she got football in there. That's great. That's the Raiders fan. They went to Vegas though. We lost them. I mean, that's crazy. They were in Oakland. They were Los Angeles at one time. Now they're in Las Vegas. Has that been, as a Raider fan, has that been something to it's been hard to deal with, huh?
You know, it has been a little hard, you know, having them so close in Oakland, in California specifically. But I think moving to Vegas might have been the best thing for them because they're the stars in Vegas. You know, they're right on the Strip. We have a beautiful stadium now, and I can't wait until I'm able to, you know, go to a game for the first time. I'm actually very excited for that.
Oh my goodness, she's making plans already to attend a game. I love it. when we can. Favorite musical artist currently right now? I know there's a plethora of them, but what's your favorite one you're listening to right now?
Musical artist, I think definitely I love female artists. I think that's very important for my day and age, especially, you know, as a girl. I think I would say Za. It's SZA, my favorite artist currently.
I gotta listen to that. I've never heard. I gotta listen to that. That's great.
It's more R&B style, definitely.
Oh yeah. Last movie you just saw?
Last movie I just saw, Transformers, the first one. Definitely one of my favorite movies.
If you had to go to anywhere in the world that you'd love to visit, anywhere in the world, Alysa, where would that be?
Definitely Tokyo. I've never been to Tokyo, and it's one of my dreams. I love everything about Japan.
If you had a car or SUV, any car or SUV that you could drive, Alysa got into that car or SUV, turned the key, or actually now they got push buttons. So what would be that car or SUV that you would love to bring your teammates into?
Honestly, a little weird, but I've always been in love with the 2011 Camaro. I think that reflects on how much I watched Transformers as a little girl, but that has definitely always been my favorite car. In white, very clean. I love that car.
Oh, I love it. Does it have a little bit of a system in there too? Because you know you love music.
It does, yes. I've been in one. My dad used to have one, actually.
Oh, wow, okay. And I think you get a little bit of that from your dad, because your dad's probably like cars, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of myself growing up, I was a little bit of a tomboy, and I think I got a lot of that from my dad.
Nice. Get serious on a couple things. Is if you were running late somewhere, Alysa, and you had to let somebody know something, could be a coach, your parents, whatever, a friend, would you call or text, and why?
I think that's just the courtesy. Just let them know what's going on. And honestly, I think that makes it way easier on you. You don't have to explain so much when you're there. You don't have to feel as much of that pressure. Just makes it easier for everyone.
So you'd call?
I'd call, yeah.
There you go. If you had, let's just say this. If you were observing somebody, maybe a student athlete, or it could be a student in a school, and you notice something wasn't right, you can kind of be observant enough to know that something's not right. How would you approach that student athlete or student in concern?
You know, I definitely think it's very important to just check in with people. I know if, you know, maybe I'm having a bad day, I think maybe it would be helpful to be able to talk to one of my teammates, you know, one of my classmates. I think I would just go up to them, maybe not address the situation, ask them, you know, how their day has been, see if they want to open up. And if not, that's okay. At least, you know, that they know that you're there whenever you need them. It's very important just to let someone know that you're available.
Yes, very important. Is there a favorite spot in LA that you love to go to?
Growing up in LA, California. Growing up in LA, it's definitely a different culture than most people around because of how, you know, this city is big, but at the same time very dense, you know, people everywhere, cities everywhere. I think where I'm happiest here is when I'm with my family, or maybe we're at a Dodger game, or, you know, maybe I'm at Staples Center and I'm watching the Lakers. It's definitely sports is a big part of, you know, who I am, just personally, outside of softball, just, you know, being here, especially in LA.
You know, we have gone through so much in 2020. I mean, some people are like, can we just stick a fork in it and throw it out in the garbage? Because it's been a very big difficulty difficult time with regards to economics, social injustice, president elections, COVID. Just those things alone have just been a big struggle for people. Tell me this, if you could have an impact in one thing in the world today, Alysa, what would that be in order to make change?
You know, personally, I have seen, you know, throughout this whole year, a lot of different situations, especially specifically on what you touched on. You know, social injustice, racism has been an ongoing problem and situation in our society for a long time. And the only reason that I think I would choose specifically that is because of how many people it affects. You know, I've seen that with so many of my teammates, some of my family have been affected by that. I think people just need to understand the perspective, the point of view. I think some people have not been put in that position, or maybe they don't understand the other side's position. I think it is so important to see the lives through other people's shoes. And I think that is what creates a lot of problems, because people don't think about other people. They only think about themselves. At the end of the day, that's what's most important to them. I think that's something that I would choose to change.
That's strong, Alysa. That's so strong. I see some possibly you getting into politics, possibly.
You know, my parents say I'm very persuasive arguer, so who knows?
Yes, very much so. Well, I tell you, what was the last thing your mom and dad told you? We'll take mom first. What was the last thing she said to you?
I think the last thing my mom said to me was, go change your shirt.
What about your dad? What was the last thing your dad told you?
I think my dad told me to have fun.
Nice. Now, I'm going to ask you one final question, and this one is based on what would you prefer? Okay, so get that in your mind. What would you prefer? Would you prefer a sugar cookie not cooked right? Or would you prefer it on being outside the game show?
I would definitely prefer to be on outside the game show.
Excellent. I tell you, Alysa, it's been wonderful to get to know you and really get to know you as a person and a student athlete, and especially give some love to Heritage Christian High School as well. Get them on the map a little bit, you know, as far as what they've been able to provide for you academically, but also to what they provide the other student athletes and the student body, teachers and administration. You know, it's been a pleasure to have you on our show.
No, thank you so much just for the opportunity. I had a lot of fun with everyone today.
Oh, you bet. This has been Alysa DeQuiroz, shortstop, second base, class of 2022, Heritage Christian High School in California, 4.0 student, and she's crushing the books, and she's going to continue to do so. We're looking for an opportunity on the next level in college. We appreciate you, Alysa, very much.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much for everything.
I'm Alysa DeQuiroz, and you're watching Outside the Games with your host, Kevin Menton.